हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गायै नमः। ओम श्री रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धा स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम नमः शिवाय 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 ओम नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव। Hari Om, Hari Om. So in this chapter, Bhagwan is describing the characteristics of those who are born with Asuri Sampatti, and also he described in the beginning the characteristics of those who are born with Devi Sampatti. Bhagwan describes the Asuri characteristic in detail so that we recognize and give them up. So Asura is one who doesn't believe in dharma and who doesn't believe that there is an Ishvara who is the protector of this dharma. They think that the whole world is functioning expression of the kamana of all beings. So the only aim and goal is to fulfill our kamana, that is pleasure, seeking pleasures. So all beings are constantly ever involved in seeking pleasures, and these pleasures are gained through the body. So protect the body and indulge in pleasures. That is their philosophy. Because once the body gets destroyed, there is no more coming back. So this is the only life, and we have to enjoy maximum the pleasures through the body. So because of this understanding or misunderstanding, their behavior becomes most violent, and they are filled with lots of anxiety and are involved in acquiring wealth through unfair means and fulfilling their desires through unfair means, and involving in violence to destroy their enemies. So in this way, the Asuras, they lead a very, very adharmic life full of papa, full of sins. Therefore Bhagwan says such people, after their death, they are thrown into lower yonis. Either they go to Naraka or they fall down into lower types of beings. So tanaham dvishatak kruran, such people who have dvesh in their heart for everyone, those who are very cruel, they fall into this samsara, into lower yonis. Kshipami ajashram, Bhagwan says, I throw them constantly into lower impure life forms. Asurishu eva yonishu. See, there are infinite beings, and there are different variety of life forms. And in each of these life forms, the beings, they keep expressing their innermost urge and desires. So in order to fulfill their kamana, they are born in different life forms. But only a rare few get an opportunity to be born as a human being. And as a human being, we have the opportunity to strive on the right path and become free of this samsara. But those who, even after becoming human beings, they don't follow the right path and continue to behave like other lower beings, expressing their kamana, their krodha. Such people, after death, they are born again in lower yonis. Ashubhan Asurishu Eva Yonishu. And what happens when they are born in such yonis? Bhagwan tells us further in verse number 20. Asurim yonimapannaha mudha janmani janmani mamaprapyaiva kaunteya tato yantyadhamam gatim. Bhagwan says, Asurim yonim apannaha mudhaha, these foolish people, those who are aviveki. Why they are aviveki? That even after gaining this rare human birth, they have not put forth right effort and indulged in all sorts of negative activities, and because of their this papa karma, they are born in lower asuri yonis. Asurim yonim apannaha mudhaha janmani janmani. And after living in one particular life form for a long time, they are again born in some other asuri yonis. So it doesn't come to an end in one life only. They are born again and again and again. It takes billions of life cycles till that jiva becomes more and more pure to be born again as a human being. Therefore it is said that jantunam nara janma durlabham, that among all the life forms, to be born as a human being is very, very rare, is durlabham. And those who involve themselves into papa karma, to wipe out that papa takes many, many births, many life forms. Therefore, one should be very careful that we keep our antakarana clean and also avoid any impurities entering our antakarana. Therefore, we say, Bhadram karne vishrunuyama devaha, Bhadram pasye makshabhirya jatraha. May I see what is auspicious, may I hear what is auspicious, so that I can maintain the purity of my antakarana. But these asuri people, they are born in the lower yonis, as animals, as birds, or as some bacteria or some wild animals. And it doesn't end with one life cycle, but they are born again and again and again. Janmani, Janmani, Bhagwan says. Prati Janma. Tamo Bahulasu Eva Yonishu. In those yonis which are tamasic, predominantly tamasic in nature. Even as trees or as animals which are tamasic, which just live in the body, unaware of themselves and the surrounding, leading a very, very basic life, just indulging in fulfilling their immediate desires of pleasures. So ahar, nidra, bhay, maithun, this itself is the expression in all these life forms. They keep having different types of food and nourishment, and otherwise they spend their time in sleeping or in reproducing, propagating. So this is the totally asuri yonis. Bhagwan says they are born in this yonis again and again, janmani, janmani. And mam aprapyaiva, without attaining me. See, how many births one will take depends on the papa karma, the various vasanas which are accumulated in the antakarana after leading a negative life for a long time. So they are born again and again and again. And mam aprapyeva, and not attaining me. They are born again and again without attaining me. See, there is no question of attaining Ishvara in lower yonis, but here Shankaracharya ji writes that they forget about attaining Ishvara, which is not possible, but they don't even attain the path which takes them towards Ishvara. Mam aprapya eva iti nam mat prapto kachet api ashanka asti ato mat shishta sadhu margam aprapya ityartah. Because to walk on the path shown by Ishvara also, we have to be born as a human being. So they don't get that opportunity to be born as human being for many, many lifetimes. And this world is so vast, infinite, and there are so many different lokas. So they are born again and again in different variety of life forms. See, on this earth itself, we see so many varieties of life forms. Even if you look at the plant kingdom, so many varieties are there of trees and plants and herbs. If you see the life form existing in water, in the oceans and rivers and lakes and all, they are also of so much of variety. Right from a tiny little organism to huge, large whales. And all of them are getting affected now by the pollution which human beings are creating. I saw one picture of a whale who died, and in its body they found so much of plastics, all sorts of wrappers and plastic accumulated in the huge body of that whale, and it died. So such life forms are there in water, then so many life forms are there on earth, in air. So billions of varieties of life forms are there, and one can be born just to express one desire or just to express few karmas. One can be born in these different variety of life forms. So not attaining me, Bhagavan says, He Kaunteya, He Arjuna, Tato yanti adhamam gatim. They go down even lower in lower life forms. Once they start falling, they keep falling down and down and down and down, and reach the rock bottom of all these life forms. So tataha yanti adhamam gatim. They go into even lower gati. So thus Bhagavan described in detail the Asuri Sampatti and the characteristic of those who are born with this Asuri Sampatti. So both these are described, the characteristics of those who are born in Daivi Sampatti and Asuri Sampatti. And Bhagavan has also mentioned that Daivi Sampatti leads a person towards moksha, and Asuri Sampatti keeps a person bound to this samsara. So now what should we do? What is the solution? See, the scriptures not only described and explained to us the problem, but also gives the solution. Therefore, it is very positive, optimistic. And there is solution for everything. So whatever be our state, whatever be our gender, whatever be our class, at whatever level we are, for everyone guidance is given in our Shastra. So here Bhagwan analyzes, he summarizes the whole Asuri Sampat and tell us how to deal with it. It's a very interesting shloka. So let us chant shloka number 21. Trividham narakassedam dvaram nashanam atmanah kama krodhastatha lobhah tasmadetatrayam tyajet. Bhagwan says there is this threefold dwar, a gateway of hell, gateway of Naraka, threefold. Trividham narakasya idam dwaram nashanam atmanaha, which destroys the self, which is the destroyer of the self. There is this threefold gateway. And what is this threefold gateway? Bhagwan says kamaha, that lust, desire for pleasures. Then krodha, anger. And tatha lobha, greed. Therefore, Bhagwan says tasmad etat trayam tejet. One should give up these three. If you give up these three, then we can proceed towards our supreme goal. Shankaracharya ji in his commentary, he writes very beautifully. Shankaracharya ji says, कि सर्वस्या आसुर्याः संपदः संक्षेपः ayam uchyate. Bhagwan had mentioned so many characteristics of these asuras. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsara, Abhimana, Darbha, Darpa. So many Bhagwan had mentioned. But what is the sar, the core of all these negative tendencies is briefly mentioned in this shloka. The core negative tendency are kama, krodha and lobha. Bhagwan says, Yasmin trividhe sarva asura sampad bhedaha anantaha api antarbhavati. That though the negative tendencies asuri sampatti are anantaha, infinite, all these negative things are so many, infinite, but they all can be summed up into these three. So if we can take care of these three, then we have taken care of the infinite negative qualities. Anantaha api antarbhavati yat pariharena pariritaha cha bhavati. So if these three are negated, all others are negated. Because these three are the very root of all the other negative qualities, other asuri qualities. So yad moola sarvasya anarthasya tad etad uchyate. It is the very root of the all calamities. Therefore these three should be understood properly and negated and removed. Because all other negativities are derived from these three only. They are derivatives of these three. So the first and the most is the kama. Kama is a desire for pleasure. So let us contemplate and think about it. So Kama is desire for pleasures. And it is there deep in all beings, because this is it is because of our deep desire to attain our own innermost self, which is of the nature of happiness. The self is of the nature of happiness, Ananda Swarupa. And all of us are seeking our own self. Not knowing our own self is making us seek our own self. All of us are seeking that eternal happiness. And that itself expresses as this kamana, seeking pleasure. Because this pleasure gives us a sense of that happiness, so one keep on indulging in various types of pleasures. And in order to gain this pleasure, we require the body. Through the body only the pleasures are acquired. Without the body, pleasures are not acquired. Through the body only, different types of pleasures. So different life forms with their body, they acquire these pleasures. So in order to gain these pleasures, I want to protect my body because I think I am the body, because I am gaining direct pleasure through the body. And when the body exists, I exist. And I feel if the body doesn't exist, I will also not exist. So I and body are same. So through the body, and in the body we have the senses and the mind, the intellect. So through the senses and through the mind, one indulges in acquiring different types of pleasures. So pleasure of eating, drinking, through the senses, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Then also pleasures one seek through the mind of different emotions, acquiring different types of emotions, acquiring, then also gaining pleasure through the intellect. And since we think I am the body, then just feeding the body, keeping the body beautiful and attractive, that also gives me some pleasure. Then acquiring certain status in the world also gives me pleasure. So in this way, the person involves himself in acquiring more and more pleasures. But to gain these pleasures, we require not only the body, but we require other resources. We require money, we require property, we require a house, we require clothes. So they also simultaneously engage in acquiring all this. So whatever we acquire to fulfill our kamana is called artha. But then they are not satisfied with whatever artha comes. They want more and more. So to acquire more is called greed, is called lobha. See, our Shastra, they say that okay, you have this natural urge to fulfill your kamana, and to fulfill your kamana you have to acquire artha, you have to acquire the resources. But they say that you try to acquire them, fulfill your kamana and try to acquire these resources through fair means, through dharmic means. in Bhaja Govindam also, one years, that Moodha Jahihi Dhanagam Trishnam Kuru Sadbuddhim Manasi Vitrishnam Yal Labhase Nijakarmo Pattam Vittantena Vinodaya Chittam. That, hey, foolish person, don't have this craze for acquiring more and more wealth. Instead of that, you do your whatever duties, and after fulfilling your duties, whatever wealth you get, whatever resources you get, try to be satisfied, be content in that only. So the Shastra, understanding the negativities of all beings, that Kama is there, this Lobha is there, Krodha is there, guides them on this right path till one becomes free of this Kam, Krodha, Lobha and attain that supreme goal. Okay, but these Asuras, since they don't believe in this Shastra and Dharma, so when Kamna comes, they want to fulfill by fair and unfair means. When that desire to acquire wealth comes, they want to acquire through fair and unfair means. So Lobha is there. I want more and more and more. And there is no end. Just as there is no end to fulfillment of this Kamana, one will never be fully satisfied by fulfilling Kamana, because it's infinite. You cannot acquire infinite happiness by indulging in gaining pleasures, because pleasures are not happiness. Pleasure cannot be compared to the happiness of our own self. But not knowing, they indulge in acquiring more and more pleasures, and in order to fulfill their pleasures, their greed also keeps on increasing. I want more and more and more. And when this Kama and Krodha is there, Kama and this Lobha, whenever it doesn't get fulfilled properly, then it comes out in the form of Krodha. They get angry. If their pleasures are not getting fulfilled, they get frustrated. Anger comes. And if their greed doesn't get fulfilled, they get frustrated and anger comes. So Kama, Krodha and Lobha, they go together. Basic is Kama. To fulfill Kama, that Lobha is there. And whenever obstacles are there, Krodha is there. So Kama, Krodha, Lobha are the basic. Kama is basic, but Kama expresses as Lobha and Krodha. And this only further expresses as pride, Abhiman. That because an Asuri person always compares, his attention is in the world outside, his attention is on his own body, his attention is on the other beings, so always compares himself with others. So when we compare, when we think I am better than the others, then there is pride. And when I think that somebody else is better than me, then I have jealousy. And Matsar, it's called Matsar in Sanskrit. Matsar means Matsarati iti, that somebody is going ahead of me. Somebody else has got more power, more wealth. Somebody else is indulging in more pleasures. The neighbor tells him that, oh, मैंने अपने पूरे परिवार को लेकर मैं घूमने गया था. I went abroad. I stayed in 5-star hotels and we had such fun and we enjoyed so much. So when that neighbor described, this fellow feels so suffocated, so terrible, so low, that he also decided, हम भी जाएंगे, हाँ, उससे भी बड़े होटल में जाके ठहरेंगे और उससे भी ज़्यादा खाएंगे पिएंगे and indulge in different pleasures. So there is matsar, jealousy. Also, one feels jealous if we think that somebody else is taking away what belongs to me or what should have come to me. So somebody is looking at my own property or my own family members or this with a negative eye. I feel angry, I feel jealous. Or I look at their property and think that, oh, ये तो मुझे मिलना चाहिए था. So that jealousy also comes. So this kama, krodha, lobha gives rise to abhiman, dambha, hypocrisy. Because if that other fellow is better than me, I just want to show him that I am better than him. So I try to create a facade. I try to make a show of my wealth. So dambha also comes. Then darpa, that my power, my strength, my wealth gives me that type of pride that I can do whatever I feel like. I will break all laws, I will break all rules. I can do whatever with my wealth. So that darpa is there. But all this comes from kama, krodha, lobha. So kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsar, dambha, darpa, abhiman, and all sorts of krurta. Everything boils down or arises from kama, krodha and lobha. So Bhagavan tells that these three are the basic asuri qualities and they are the doorway to hell. Narakasya idam dwaram. Dwar means door. Just like we have Haridwar. Haridwar means the dwar which takes us to Hari, to Bhagavan. But here Bhagavan is talking about Narakadwar, the dwar which takes one to Naraka. So after that, they go to Naraka, and even when they are alive, they experience excruciating sorrow, pain, and different types of suffering. So they not only experience hell while living in this world, but they actually go to an actual hell once this body is dropped. See, we experience this world with our senses, and we get joys and sorrows in this world through our senses. But very interesting, when we go to sleep and when we dream, we experience joys and sorrow in our dream also. But there are no objects in the dream. There is no world in the dream. This world is not there in the dream. In the dream, only our mind is there. And the mind alone creates the image of a world, and through the mind only one experiences the dream. There is no actual world. When we wake up, nothing is there, dream is not there. But it is a world where we experience joys and sorrows, a subtler field created by the mind. Similarly, there are subtler levels wherein the Swarga Loka and Naraka Lokas are there. Different types of Narakas are there. So they are also there. So when a person dies, according to the karma, goes to these different types of Naraka. And the main thing which takes a person there are these threefold negative qualities of kama, krodha and lobha. So trividam narakasya idam dwaram nashanam atmanaha. They are the destroyers of our own innermost self. Yad dwaram pravishan eva nashyati atma kasmaichit purusharthaya yogyo na bhavati. What does it mean that it destroyed the self? A person becomes incapable of pursuing his purushartha. See, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Ultimate purushartha is to gain moksha. Means ultimate our goal is to gain moksha. But what comes in between gaining moksha? Our kama. So the scripture says, okay, fulfill your kamna following dharma. So when we fulfill our kamna following dharma, then the kama also keeps on reducing and our antakarana becomes pure and we can move on the path of moksha and attain moksha. Okay. So the scriptures guide the person who has got these negativities also. The scriptures guide slowly and steadily to reach that ultimate goal. But a person who is totally overpowered by kama, krodha, lobha and is not seeing anything else, doesn't care for the dharma and shastra and the devata and all, such person is destroying his own self as though. So these threefold negativities, they are the destroyers of our own self. A person becomes incapable of doing any purushartha. So nashanam atmanaha kamaha krodha tatha lobha. See, in the third chapter also we had seen Bhagavan talked about kama and krodha. But lobha is also there. And Bhagavan had given the technique of overcoming this kamana very elaborately. Bhagavan had said that this kamana gets expressed through our senses, through our mind. So one should first control the mind. Indriyas, Indriya, Mana, Buddhi are the residents of this kamana. Therefore, first we should control the indriyas. Tasmatvam indriyanyadav niyamya bharatarshapha. And then transcend to the level of the mind, the intellect, and transcend the intellect also. So the scriptures guide the person. But when one is totally overpowered by kama, krodha, lobha, then one is not available even to listen to all this instruction. But if at all, if a person listens, then he should listen and drop this kama, krodha, lobha. Bhagavan says, kama, krodhas tatha lobha tasmad etat trayam tyajet. One should know that they are the enemies. Once we have recognized them as the enemies, then our whole attention is to destroy them, is to drop them. Tasmad etat trayam tyajet. Because only after overcoming kama, krodha, lobha, only after purifying the mind, making it free of kama, krodha, lobha, one can begin the journey towards moksha. One can really do sadhana towards gaining moksha. And that's what Bhagavan says in the next verse, verse number 22. Etair vimuktah kaunteya tamodvaraistribhir naraha acharantyatmanap shreyah tato yati parangatim. Bhagavan says, etaihi vimuktah kaunteya. Hey Kaunteya, becoming free of these three. Etaihi tamaso narakasya dukkha mohatmakasya dvarani kamadayah. These three dwars which are there, threefold gate, kama, krodha and lobha. Tamodvaraihi, they are the gates of tamas. Tamas means hell. Tamas means naraka. Naraka is that which gives a person pain, sorrow, suffering, excruciating trouble. That's called tamas. So, tribhir naraha, so a person who becomes free of these three, who gets rid of these three, kama, krodha, lobha, by pursuing the right path which Bhagavan has told before also, and Bhagavan will tell further also. And how exactly we can deal with this kama, krodha, lobha, that also we will know. So there are some basic technique which if we pursue sincerely, we will be able to overcome this kama, krodha, lobha. That in detail Bhagavan will tell in the 17th chapter and also in 18th. But here he mentions that one who becomes free, etaihi vimuktaha, अच्छी तरह से उससे मुक्त हो जाता है. हे कौन्तेय तमोद्वारैहि त्रिभिर्नरः आचरन्ति आत्मनः श्रेयः. Thereafter he works towards gaining the welfare for his own self, means pursues the path of attaining that moksha. Acharati anutishthati kim atmanah shreyah yat pratibaddah purvam na acharati tad apagamat acharati. When these three are there, one cannot pursue the spiritual path. They come as an obstacle. Our desires for pleasure, and to fulfill those pleasures, our intense thirst to acquire more and more wealth, and our irritation and anger. With this, one cannot pursue a spiritual path. One cannot worship that Ishvara. One cannot meditate. One cannot contemplate on the Supreme Self. One cannot do that nididhyasan. So one has to get rid of this through proper means first. So acharati atmanah shreyah. So in order to gain that supreme goodness for our own self, one follows this right path, shreyah, and thereafter tato yati param gatim. Thereafter attains the supreme gati, the supreme goal of moksha is attained. One attains that moksha. So this kama, krodha and lobha has to be eliminated through proper means. Briefly I will tell you, then we can study in more detail when we study the 17th chapter. So this kama, krodha, lobha can be overcome by yajna, dana and tapa, or through yajna, dana, tapa. See, this kamna is overcome through tapas. Then lobha is overcome through dana, and krodha is overcome through yajna. when there is a lot of kamna in our heart, one has to spend time in doing some tapas. And one of the basic tapas is upavas, or preventing with willpower to stop ourselves from indulging in these pleasures. So even if we conquer our tongue, we will be able to conquer the kamana and the rest of the kamana in our antakarana. So if one can gain mastery over his tongue, one can gain mastery over the kamanas also. So the scriptures talk about, in the initial sadhana, one of the sadhana is upavasa, fasting. And fasting with a sankalpa. Not that you don't get food the whole day and then you say that, oh, I fasted today. No. One should take a sankalpa that today I will not eat, or I will eat only fruits, or I will eat only one time, or I will eat only this much quantity. And whatever sankalpa we take, we have to stick to that. Also, one should do it with the intention that I am doing this to purify my antakarana and to please that Ishvara. Yoginak karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva atma shuddhaye. Yogis, they perform karma without attachment to purify their antakarana. So through upvas and through restraining ourselves from indulging in pleasures with willpower, we can overcome a lot of the kamanas. Then through dana, we can overcome our greed, lobha, dana. Whatever we have, we should learn to share with others, with those who are in need, at the right time, at the right place, with the right attitude. We should share what we have with others. Whatever one has acquired should share. So the whole tendency of sharing, when we invoke in ourselves, we will become free of that greed. That more and more I want, and through unfair means also I want to acquire. No, all these tendencies will go away when we, with a proper attitude, share what we have with others. Our wealth, all our resources, our knowledge. We share it with those who don't have it, the right patra at the right time. So this helps to overcome the lobha, that attitude of acquiring more and more and more. Because when we have lobha, we indulge in unfair means to acquire them. So all these unfair means will drop when we sincerely, with proper attitude, practice dana. And yajna is deva puja, deva archana. When we worship any devata, the supreme devata, or different expression of that Ishvara, sincerely when we worship, the krodha which is there, the anger, the irritation, it drops. In Ramayana there is a very beautiful incident. Naradji had become very, very angry, and out of anger he had even cursed Bhagwan that you will be born as a human being. So much anger was there. And when he came to know that, that I had expressed this anger towards Ishvara, towards Bhagwan, and when he was taking care of me, he had done everything to protect me. Naradji felt very bad, and that he felt a great sense of sorrow within, that I became angry. So Bhagwan told him that you do japa. Do japa of Lord Shiva's name. And by constantly doing that japa, Naradji's antakarana became totally free of all anger, all irritation, all displeasure, everything disappeared. So yajna is not only the yajna which we perform invoking the fire and offering the ahutis, but even puja is yajna, and even japa is yajna. Yajnanam japa yajñosmi. So when we do japa, we take any name of Bhagwan which we like and constantly chant that name, we will become free of our anger. So through japa, dana and upvas, we can get rid of all the kama, krodha and lobha which we have acquired in many lifetimes. Therefore, in all our rituals, the main focus is on japa, dana and upvas also. कि एकादशी का उपवास करो, सोमवार का उपवास करो, मंगलवार का उपवास करो, like that so many. Anything comes, the Shastra, they talk about upvas, they talk about dana, and they talk about japa. Because this itself, that japa is called yajna, and dana, and upvas is like tapa. So yajna, dana, tapak karma. Through this yajna, dana and tapak karma, we can purify our mind, get it, get rid of this kama, krodha and lobha. This has to be practiced. More elaborately about this yajna, dana, tapa, we will study in the 17th as well as the 18th chapter. But here briefly Bhagwan mentioned that we have to get rid of kama, krodha, lobha. So I spoke about this. So etair vimuktaha kaunteya. Hey kaunteya, one who is free of this kama, krodha, lobha, this threefold gateway of naraka, thereafter he pursues the spiritual path. See, first is cleaning the antakarana. Then we have to pursue this path. When that kama, krodha, lobha is there, we cannot pursue this path. Shankaracharya ji writes, कि सर्वस्य एतस्य आसुर संपत् परिवर्जनस्य श्रेय आचरणस्य च शास्त्रम कारणम. To help us to understand what are the negativities and how to give up those negativities, the Shastras, they help us. And also, the Shastra is the Praman, helping us to follow the path of spirituality and attain that moksha. So, Shastra Pramanat Ubhayam Shakyam Kartum Na Anyatha. So, with the help of the Shastras, one can not only give up the negativities, but also pursue this path positively and attain moksha. So when that negativity is there, we cannot pursue the path properly. So first, through yajna, dana, tapa, that is through japa, dana and upvas, we have to purify our antakarana, make it free of kama, krodha and lobha. So all those who are listening, you have to follow this path. You have to follow this step of purifying by doing some japa of any name of Bhagwan. All names are same. So whichever name you like of Ishvara, chant that name regularly. Keep on chanting. Then, during the week, one day or one time, whenever, according to one's capacity, one should do upvas. See, upvas is not only of eating, but we will see later on. Then we should do upvas of seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, and all other pleasures also. But one should start with having control over our eating. And then we should also do dana. Dan do. To the right person at the right time and with the right attitude. One should do dan. Should not take anything free. We should always share whatever we have with the world, because we are getting so much from the world. We are getting from our Ishvara, we are getting from the Devatas, we are getting from nature, we are getting from other human beings. So we should not just keep on taking, but we should share with others also. As we have seen in the 3rd chapter, Bhagavan says, one who takes without giving is a stena eva saha, is like a thief. So yajna dana tapa, karma will help us to get rid of this kama, krodha and lobha. More about this we will see in our class tomorrow. Further, Bhagavan will, in the following 2 verses, Bhagavan gives us the importance of Shastra and how Shastra guides us to get rid of our negativities and to attain the supreme goal. So that we will study in our class tomorrow. So till then, you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy, do your work, do your sadhana, and do this yajna dana tapak karma. Okay? And we shall meet again tomorrow. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. बोलिए सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरि ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो